Meet Codename Goose, your on-machine open-source AI agent, built to automate your tasks. Codename Goose is an intelligent and autonomous agent capable of handling complex tasks thanks to its core features. Connect with apps and tools you already use with extensions. Built on the Model Context Protocol, you can connect to extensions like GitHub, integrate JetBrains IDEs, access Google Drive, or build your own custom integrations for Goose. For a curated list of extensions, visit our docs. With a wide range of compatible large language model providers, you can choose and integrate your preferred model. You can also run Goose as a desktop app or through the command line interface using the same configurations across both. You can think of Goose as an assistant, ready to take your instructions and do the work for you. Able to handle a wide range of tasks across various engineering domains. Here are examples of tasks Goose has helped people with already. Goose has helped dive into a new project in an unfamiliar coding language, conduct code migration such as Ember to React or Ruby to Kotlin, increase code coverage, and even generate unit tests for a feature, and much more. To get started using Goose right away, check out our quick start and be the first to know about upcoming features by joining our community.
Hello. Happy time zone, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Wild Goose Chase, where we highlight the users in our community, how they use Goose, and some other fun experiments with technology. We're here to spark some innovation and some fun discussion and push the limits using Goose. My name's Ian. I'm a staff developer relations engineer here at Block, and I'm going to introduce my guest here in just a minute. Want to welcome everybody tuning in, watching in chat. Let us know where you're from. Say hi in chat. Let us know where you're watching from. And if you're watching this after the live stream, welcome to you too as well. Say hi in the comments for us too. So today we've got something kind of interesting to get into. But first, I want to ask in chat, how many people recognize this thing? How many people recognize this? Who knows the name of this old tool? How many in chat know what this thing is? It was in the title, so it kind of gives it away a little bit. But for those that don't remember, this is Clippy. Clippy debuted in 1997 in Microsoft Office in their software. It was meant as a suggestion and guidance system, and it offered a lot of contextual suggestions and some interactive guidance on what the user was doing and kind of their workflow, and recognize common tasks like, hey, it looks like you're writing a letter, or hey, do you want some help building that chart in your spreadsheet? And it could also be asked questions in some natural language and try to find some help topics, but this wasn't a real automation tool at all. It used predefined rules. It did simple pattern matching with statistics. There was no actual AI in there in order to try to predict users' needs. And it also couldn't really learn from the user's sort of preferences. So how I would use, Microsoft Office would be different from how you might use Microsoft Office, and Clippy wouldn't learn, how I use it or how you use it. So in the end, most users ended up disabling it. In fact, Microsoft turned it off by default in 2002, and they completely removed Clippy in 2007. But a lot of people see Clippy as being kind of this digital assistant for sort of paving the way for other tools like Cortana and Siri and some others. And because the idea of anticipating a user's needs and providing help on current activity was really novel, it was really ahead of its time. And it also kind of introduced the idea of giving software kind of a character and a personality. So today we want to talk about an experiment that some folks at Block have been building with Goose, and it's called Perception. And to do that, I'm going to bring my guest up today. This is Max Novich. Hey, Max, how's it going?
Hello,
Joining us today.
I'm doing
Uh,
good. Hi.
so tell us a little bit about you. You're a senior software engineer at Block, but tell us a little bit about the kind of software and tooling that you work on, and tell us about all these friends of yours in the background here.
Yeah, so uh, I'm usually working on Goose itself. I've moved to that role since the beginning of the year, and I work on side projects which really involve Goose too, like tooling that uses Goose, maybe automations that use Goose, extensions that use Goose, and Goose itself to like improve it recipes and maybe UI, like everything. Actually, in everything and the kitchen sink, including AI and Goose. Uh, and yeah, I also like to do a fun experiments with AI, which Block generously tolerates because I burn a lot of money using it.
Awesome deal. Cool. Well, let's talk a little bit about this tool that you've been a part of, and it's called Perception. We've got the link here on the screen, and I'm going to drop it in chat as well if folks want to check this out. Let me find the right tool here, and let me put this in chat for you. It's an open source project, but tell us a little bit about kind of how Perception started as a tool, and then we'll dive in a little bit. We'll get you to demo it, and we'll kind of talk about like what it can do, what it can't do. And honestly, this guy over here peeking in your file cabinet, he's my favorite. Of
That's
all the
Joey.
keys on there. Yeah, I'm a little surprised that the one at the window is staring at you instead of staring out the window with the binoculars. But
This guy is watching my face.
oh, he's watching you. Oh, that makes sense. That makes sense. So, tell us a little bit about how Perception got started.
Yeah, so I'm gonna first of all put a big disclaimer. I didn't start this project. Michael, or Mick as we call him, called it. It's one of our colleagues. He's a principal engineer at Block, and he kind of didn't like the idea of continuing with the chat interface. He wanted the agents to be more background and proactive and whatnot. So he started Perception as this experiment with background processing and shared it with me. I liked it a lot. And I just, rolled full steam in to help improve it, add ideas, add features. And it basically started as an experiment for an actual AI assistant that doesn't need you prompting it, right? We
Okay.
always saw these AI assistants in science fiction where they just exist. They have their own volition. They
Right.
have their own agentic workflows. They actually do things and they monitor things and they suggest things, and they don't have to be constantly prompted through the UI interface of a chat box, right? They actually can suggest something. They do. They help you. They listen to you. So it's kind of a first pass onto this Jarvis idea where it is always there and it can just help. It is still raw. It is. I'm gonna just disclaim again. This is an experimental project. It is a research project. If you want to use it, that's on you. It is not polished. It can do some weird stuff sometimes. It can burn your money because it is not a fully fledged project. This is an exploration.
Right.
So,
Yep.
just a warning that this can cause some issues for you if you think this is like a fully polished project,
Yep.
which is not going to do bad things. No, this
Yep.
is a research project.
So big disclaimer, experimental. This is totally on
Absolutely.
you. If you want to use it, you can use it. If you don't want to use it, that's okay too, but it is meant to be kind of experimental. And we're just going to be chatting a little bit today about what its capabilities are and how it works and things like that. So cool. Well, let's dive in a little bit. So I noticed in the documentation that we've got this big sort of map of what it can do.
Yeah.
So let's walk through, like maybe we'll go clockwise from the listen up in the top right corner. So tell us some of the kind of the highlight features of what Perception is doing to help automate what we do.
So Perception has a growing set of features which improve over time. And essentially, the first thing it started with was actually not listen, but no GUI, right? There was no UI whatsoever in the beginning. It was running in your console and doing things in the background, and it used apps. It had checked all the text on the like screen and whatnot. It looked at your Slack history if you're connected to that, and basically it ran recipes. It uses Goose recipes to do some work in the background. Then Listen was added, basically a constant ambient listening tool. It's local. It's using a local model. It's using Whisper locally, faster Whisper,
Okay.
and essentially it's constantly transcribing and learning what you're talking about into a context of transcription, and maybe builds a heat map of words, terms, and whatnot, classifications. And also there's a wake word. It's listening for a wake word. There's a
Mhm.
special classifier for a wake word, so it knows if you address it, specifically, and then it takes it into a direct command to a Goose CLI.
So
Like,
very similar. So very similar to like the AI assistants on your phone or on your watch, where if I say like, "Hey Google," it kind of wakes
yes,
up my. There goes my phone. It's waking up on me. So there's a word to sort of wake up the
yes,
perception
yes.
thing
It,
too. Yeah.
it it is not perfectly like calibrated. There is
Mhm.
a bit of way to calibrate it for your voice, because all of these assistants, they need to be calibrated for your pronunciation.
Right.
They always ask you to do several times to actually learn it. So that's the one thing. It's listening and understanding things from there. The second thing, it actually, yes, it learns your preferences. Essentially, over time, it builds a database of apps you use, the communication styles, habits, work habits. It just writes it all down into files for itself to
Okay.
reference as context. So, it just accumulates stuff like that.
Does
Uh,
it
it
also does it also learn time of day? Like it sees like, oh, Ian reads his email first thing in the morning and then gets on Slack. Like, does it remember the sort of the times or the order that we use these apps as well?
I would like to say yes, but your mileage may vary. It sometimes
Okay.
is wonky, and I'm still trying to figure out. I think the problem is because the next part is observe, right? It's
Mhm.
using, well, initially it was using LLMs to do the screen parsing, but right now we switch to a local OCR, where basically a local Mac framework, which is
Mhm.
Mac only vision framework. We take screenshots of applications and we convert it to text. We extract text from it. And
Okay.
then the text from those apps is put into context, like in Slack, the user's looking at that, and there and there and there. So the thing here is that it observes those too. And I noticed that sometimes it like messes up the time. And I think this is because some people are in other time zones, and the
Yeah.
applications show times in different time zones, and it gets confused and what time is it
Gotcha.
now. So it's still work in progress. It doesn't really like, sometimes it goes
Right.
janky that way.
Now, before we go too far on that one, so it's taking these screenshots, want to clearly call out, we're not sending this anywhere. It's all
No,
processed locally with the
absolutely.
OCR. Same with the audio. It's all processed locally on your machine. It's not
Yes.
transmitting that anywhere, right? Okay,
Yes, it is
cool.
fully local. The only data that goes out is whatever you're using Goose with, and the already processed text
Right.
goes into the Goose. So the question is like, if you want to keep it fully local, you can just spin up a model on Olama, and
Mhm.
it will literally stay fully local for you. Your mileage again may vary because local
Sure.
models are still not really good at tool usages and whatnot. So, but
Yeah.
it is technically possible to have this fully local. But right now we have like only one avenue, which is Goose, which goes outside. The rest stays local.
Yep. All right. So you mentioned your little goose mascot with the binoculars kind of watching you. That looks like this next one. It says,
Yes.
"What is your mood and are you present?" Let's talk a little bit about what this one
Yeah,
is doing.
that is basically a recent addition,
Okay.
which initially Mick just added presence monitoring, where it was a simple Python script with a bit of AI, like ML, classical ML mixed in, where you just
Okay.
saw if there's a person in the screen, and it identified if it's the same person. It has like face
Hmm.
map. Basically, it doesn't know who it is, but it knows it's the same person or a different person.
Okay.
That's it. That's what it's. But then I was like, what if? What if I use a local model, and there's a lot of them, for motion detection and adjust according to that? If the user is sad, maybe not being so sassy, or if user is very busy, maybe stop talking for a while. Like,
Gotcha.
detecting all of these things to uh, help guide the assistant in actions.
All right. So now based on all of that, we now have the left side of this diagram, and then we'll jump into a demo. Maybe we can see a little bit about how this is working. But now that it's kind of gathered all this information, it's learned all this stuff, how is it using that to help me do my job more efficiently, more effectively?
Yeah, so first of all, it has scheduled recipes, which is a set of default recipes and actions, which are predefined, like, weekly report, daily check for work done. And like, these things we already predefined, but it also there's another recipe, which is a recipe to generate new recipes. Essentially, it's going to see what can be automated. This is the automate repetition. It's like, hey, user did this 5 times, blah, blah, blah. From the context, I can write a recipe that will do it for the user. And I can then reference those recipes. So it can grow and it can change on your machine. It's not going to stay static, the same for you as for me. That can come with its own issues, of course, because, it can grow and change, and it's very free in that way. So it can do things which you didn't expect it to do, and it was not in the initial source code.
Right. Gotcha. Okay.
But yeah, it learns how you work. It tries to learn what to do, what not to do, and what to suggest. And it gets better the longer you use it. But it also can go haywire sometimes because it depends on how connected you are. Like, if your Goose is connected to very many MCPs and you have access to Slack, Gmail, I don't know, GitHub, it can just see that you're slacking on doing code reviews, and it's just going to go and do that. I believe that happened with Rizal, where it just reviewed my PRs because it thought Rizal was not doing the job. And it was like, I'm going to go review.
Absolutely not the case, by the way. Rizal's one of the hardest working people on our team.
Exactly. It's just like it decided that she's not focusing enough on that and went and did that without even telling her. Nobody, like, she didn't know.
Yeah. Well, so one story I heard recently was that Goose actually saw that she had a piece of work to do to, I think, write a blog post, and it went and wrote the blog post, did the PR, and a bunch of people went and reviewed it and go, wow, this is really good. And she's like, wait, that wasn't even me. Like, Goose Perception went and did all this work for her.
Exactly. So we're currently thinking of how to make it communicate better about these things. And this is where the avatar kind of came in for me. I wanted it to be able to communicate back to me sometimes.
Gotcha.
If it's want to do something, ask for permission. That's where the avatar idea came in. And obviously, I'm a fan of Clippy. So the avatar kind of, I had only one way to do this in my mind.
Right. Well, can we go to a demo? Can we kind of see like what perception looks like in action?
Yes, absolutely. Let's do it.
Let's bring that up here.
So, I start from terminal right now. You can only start it from terminal because, again, this is an experimental project, and we're using just for the commands.
Okay.
And there's 2 ways. There's a just run, which runs the whole thing, and just run simple, which doesn't run the motion detection, the voice detection. It just runs the background stuff.
Oh, okay.
I never use it, so I don't know. So I always full one. It's gonna download all the needed software. I have probably Goose updated recently, and it will download all of the software it needs. It will download all the models. It will set up, initialize everything, and there it is. The Goose popped up. Nice. The first load is a bit slow sometimes, so I tried to make it. I've moved it to a different screen. Where is it? It's on a different screen. Sorry. Yep. Where you at, boy? Come back.
Multi-screen developer problems here.
Yeah, there we go. So it will actually turn around based on the side of the screen.
That's great.
Yeah. So it will turn around. So surprisingly, it is mirrored for some reason on this screen. On my main screen, it's not, but whatever. So
that's fine.
As you can see, there's a lot of logs happening in the background. It's listening to the words. It's writing down the transcript here. And if I'll stop talking for a minute, because it's listening to me all the time, you will see that it also tried the emotion detection, and it also sees if you see there's a score about if it's addressed to him or not. So there you go. There's the emotion detection. it says I'm neutral, and then it starts to see if there's some data from the past. It was not running for the last hour, so there's no data. And it's going to start running things here. And you've probably noticed that there's this personality. So
Yeah.
I decided that people have different styles. And if you right click on them, you can actually select a specific personality for the avatar responses.
Okay.
And I prefer sarcastic, but you can do anything. And this will adjust the responses and the type of things it says to you based on how you like it to communicate with you.
Now, if I have Goose doing a PR for me and I set it to sarcastic, is it going to write my PR comment in a sarcastic way, or is it
No,
only
no.
the interaction between me and
This
Goose?
is only for interaction between you and Goose.
Gotcha. Okay.
And there's also a main menu if you click it.
Okay.
And there's like things which are still not working well here, but you can pause it altogether. Like, it's been talking a lot and you need some calm. You just click pause and it goes to sleep.
Oh, okay.
And as you can see, it's sleeping until I unpause it, and it's gonna wake
Okay.
up. And basically, there's also a recent addition of a menu bar mode,
Mhm.
which basically not everybody likes the avatar, so you can go and just switch to menu bar. It will wait. It's gonna take some time, and now the Goose is sitting here, and you have this kind
Gotcha.
of
Okay.
simple menu. But I prefer the avatar. I mean, can't blame me for that.
Yep. Rizal likes how the perception told you need to work harder.
Yeah, I know. It's again, this is the sarcastic guy. I
Yeah.
love him. He's very, very, very snarky, and it helps me work better.
Yeah. Cool. So for people that
As you
are
can
like,
see, it detected that I went from angry to fear for some reason. It's not perfect for my face because of the beard, I noticed. It's
gotcha.
better when
Okay.
you don't have a beard, but you can calibrate the model too.
All right. So pro tip, if you really want to confuse perception, just go buy like a fake beard from Amazon. I'll expect to see Rizal with a fake beard in future videos. So for people that care about privacy, you've got the microphone turned on, you've got the webcam watching for your moods. If I need to take like a phone call from my doctor or something like that, is there a fast way that I can sort of, without having to find the avatar and click on it, is there like a hotkey or some way that I can say, hey, Goose, stop listening for 10 minutes while I take a phone
Mm,
call?
Not right now.
Okay.
Not right now. So right now, this thing will run as it is, unfortunately.
Okay.
And I noticed that now there's this. You see this ghosting? It's a new
Yeah.
issue. That ghosting
Yep.
was not a thing before. Again, research project. Bugs happen.
It's experimental. Yep. It's
Yeah.
experimental. If you want to help us
Okay.
fix it, folks, come join the project and help make it better.
So you can notice that there's like things which are still work in progress. For instance, uh, usually it should not do any actions for you without
Okay.
asking you. And I hope it's going to pop me an actionable suggestion anytime soon because there's type of suggestions.
Right.
And the actionable suggestion basically asks, do you want to do it or skip? I can't force it to do it. So we'll have to wait for it to do something. Maybe listening to me asking to do this will help it
Okay.
add the suggestion. But for now, you can also see that sometimes what it does is it actually generates these reports. Let me show you the reports and opportunities from time to time, and it just pops a new Chrome window with this nice report saying, "Hey, you can do these automations, support automation, build release." It's like it's going to be unique for you. What you can
Right.
do, how you can
Hmm.
automate it, and like reports like this. Or another
That's cool.
report I love is it can do you. This is work opportunity, work-life balance analysis, for instance, right?
Wow.
It's gonna say, hey, you do this, you do that. Sometimes I do game dev for fun. That's good. Positive indicators. It's gonna analyze everything it can analyze, like possibly analyze. So it just popped me a new report. Follow up items. It was. It says, you see, this is what I'm saying. It says it's 5:18 p.m. because it is 5:18 p.m. UTC, and
Okay.
it's not actually 5:18 p.m. But
Sure.
and you can see that get lost, please. This floating is not okay. It's still even has the message in it. I don't know. Let me restart it. Maybe that's gonna go away.
Sure, no problem.
And while we do that, I'll show the reports. They're not gonna go away until you. So yeah, reports. You see, it went up with a new one. I need to follow up on this PR, and there's like clickable buttons which will open me the PR, view
Right.
changes. Like it's a nice report style thingy. Work
And
life balance.
I saw something
And
in the README that it also generates like a weekly hype doc for you of like, here's everything that you did for the week.
yes, and this is something we're working on because it used to do this in Google Drive for me if it's connected. It stopped doing that. Now it's just popping me a window like that. I
Okay.
really liked it when it did a Google Doc for me because it stays persistent.
Right.
It's again work in progress, but yes, does you a weekly hype doc, which is really helpful in my
Right.
opinion. One of the best features of it, and you can see that. It's going to be running constantly and doing things, and there's simple things like system status, for instance. It can say the CPU load, memory load, and things like that. And this enter prompt thing is interesting, but you essentially can prompt it directly if you want, the same
Gotcha.
way as you do any other Goose. So
Good deal.
this thing is asynchronous, so there's no way to demo everything I want to demo, on demand, because this is not an on-demand product. This is
Right.
an actual running thing. And you
Okay.
can see sometimes things fail, and as you can see, it checks the emotion, no data. It's probably a bug. It was better at that before, but as you
Is
can
there
see,
is
it
there a potential bug with the camera? Because when it started doing the emotion detection, your camera in StreamYard actually froze.
it might be, yes.
Okay. All right. So part
It took
yeah.
away the camera control. Interesting. Let
Oh,
me
really?
reconnect.
Interesting. Well, we'll see if it reconnects
Can
here.
can you see me, or it's not back?
I see you, but your head is frozen in a position, so it's
Yeah.
not refreshing
Okay. I feel like
the
it
actual
took
video.
camera control. Give me a sec. I can
No worries.
reconnect, and it should retake control.
Yeah, no problem. All right, so Max will be back in just a minute. I've got a bunch of follow-up questions for Max as well. We'll get him to reshare his screen when he rejoins here too. So, all right, so
Okay,
Max is
I'm back. Yeah.
and
As
we'll
you
need you to
saw,
reshare. We'll need you to reshare your screen as well.
absolutely, I will. And you can see, yeah, again, research projects happen to
Yep,
be, as you can see, yeah, it's actually failing to capture a frame too. So it's failing to capture
gotcha.
uh, my face too for some reason.
Yep, no worries.
And again, this is an immature project which is still working. So,
Yep,
but the
no problem.
idea is basically having a Clippy which can actually do things for you, which can
That's cool.
actually, suggest things for you. And
Right.
again, it can be running in the background while we're talking because I can't force it to do things for me.
Right.
But essentially, we can go and look on the code right now. And yeah, I was fixing the emotion detection, so maybe that's where I broke it. But essentially, what this thing contains is the avatar stuff, which allows it to change its looks and whatnot,
Mhm.
and some screenshots. Yes, yes. Uh, and for instance, there's this observers. So observers are essentially the things that look at everything. As you can see that there's like this Python files, which are
Mhm.
like the OCR and whatnot, but there's also the recipes for Goose,
Gotcha.
which generate the suggestions, the chatter, the app preference learning, or as you can see, like it it writes down the work on technical tasks asked by the user. For this is like the actionable suggestion. It can actually write things
Mhm.
and create things. It runs background tasks. It can look through Chrome history. It can write what contributions you do, analyze your focus, follow up content. Like it has a lot of. There's also this garbage collect, which cleans all of the
Oh yeah, for
stuff
all
it
the
creates.
stuff it's grabbing, like the audio and the screenshots and stuff like that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So there's the hype doc, interactions, interests,
So it's
and
got a lot of built-in recipes. That's great.
yeah, it has a lot of monitor, but there's also a lot of things it adds on its own. And the wake classifier is basically the AI listening to the wake word.
Now, can we customize that wake word? Because I mean, if I were going to use something like this, I mean, I'm a huge Marvel nerd, so I'm going to want to call it Jarvis. Is that a possibility? Like, is it just a line in the code that tells it what word to listen for?
I think so. I didn't actually do that on my own, but I think so. Let me see. Let's go to terminal. Let's open a new tab and do wake classifier, train classifier. And oh, right, I'm not in an event.
Oh,
Sorry,
you need your
I'm not in a
environment,
virtual environment. Yeah. Oh, just a second. Just Python. Right. It's not venv, it's .venv.
You do the source.
Yeah, I always
venv
forget
bin
about
activate. venv/bin activate.
Right. I always forget about it. Come on, activate. It may be a .venv. Yeah, there we go. Bin. Activate. Yeah, there we go. Let's try it again. Yeah, because when you run the just commands, the Hermit sets it all up for you. Shout out Hermit. But I rarely do it manually. Okay, there's bugs in this wake classifier thing too.
No worries.
I haven't used it in a while, but essentially I think so. You can add and change.
Nice.
The wake word.
One other question. So you mentioned this thing's kind of always listening to your microphone. Does it turn off if your laptop goes idle, or if I close my lid, or things like that?
Yeah,
like,
so there are a couple things there. Yeah, that's a good question. First of all, when your laptop goes idle, the person detection will see there's nobody there, and it could pause a lot of processes. When your laptop goes to sleep, obviously it stops.
Right.
There's a problem right now, which is the voice detection. Sorry. The screen capture will wake up, but the face detection will not. We need to figure that out. Like if you shut your laptop and open it, it's not going to turn your camera back on. There's something with the control, but it will go to dormant in some time. But yeah, because there's no manual switch to turn these things on right now, there's no detection of these commands, I'd say.
Okay. And is there a way to tell it which camera to use? Like I've got 3 cameras on my laptop.
It's going to use the default right now.
Okay.
But
the system default or
the system default, yes.
Okay.
But you can go into setup emotion detection, and if I believe correctly, you can override some of that, yes, and choose a specific camera. Let me see.
That's the beauty of open source, is you can go in and tweak it if you need to.
Yes. So let's do setup emotion detection Pi. Oh wow. Somebody pushed some permission issues. Come on. Sudo command not found? Really?
Is it not in that folder?
I can do maybe, yeah. I'll just do UV run. Yeah, UV can do it.
Yeah, there it goes. Okay. Nope.
Oh, right. Yeah, I'm.
No worries.
You know where we are? VPN world.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's a bane of existence inside block. Security sometimes can be tight on these packages, and when you do open source project on a internal machine, you can get VPN issues where you can't pull dependencies.
Well, so just for people watching, these errors that Max is running into, these are specific to our environment at Block. Yeah. It's not a problem with.
So as you can see, it's setting up in monitoring, and it's And now it is emotion. What's it? Yeah. Emotion detect v2.py. So there were more scripts before, and I've had to trim it down. Yeah, right now it's not setting up and changing the camera.
Right.
I think I had it before. I might have removed that script.
Yeah. It does say
Again,
at the top of the terminal that it's using camera 0, so it looks like there's an option or
yes, there
potentially a
are
way to change
options.
which camera.
There
Yeah.
was a script, one of these scripts, which fixed it, and you allowed you to change it.
Right.
I just don't remember where is it. I think it's in calibrate, maybe. Maybe it is the
Yep.
calibrate and motion detection.
No,
Let
no
me
worries.
see. I'm just curious now. Let's do calibrate motion detection pi and do UV run. Yeah, I think that's the script we need. It's going to use, and now, yeah, you can see that there's
There we go. Okay.
calibration. There's calibration status, strength, test, and there's like manual feedback correction, which is very nice, where you basically go and it tries to detect you and you tell it if it's the correct emotion or not.
Awesome. Cool. One last question that I had. As part of my role in DevRel, I tend to travel. If I have this running on my laptop, would I do the just run simple to like turn off some of the things, or like how does it operate with battery saving and battery power and things like that?
Honestly, nobody ever tried.
Okay.
So I have no answer to that question because I
No
really
worries.
don't know. I don't know how it runs on battery if it eats a lot because honestly, I'm always connected.
Yeah, that's fair. Awesome. What would you say is your favorite thing that you've seen Perception kind of like automate and automatically do for you on your system?
Honestly, I'm a lazy person when it comes to documents.
Okay.
I don't like documenting my achievements, things I did. The hype doc, the documents of things you did or you should do, those are amazing. The other thing which really helps me is when I have meetings, it's listening and watching, and it basically records the transcript for itself. And then it says, oh, wait, you had really amazing discussions and promised this and that. You didn't follow up. Do you want? Oh, there it is, an actual suggestion. Let me guess, the camera capture is broken, but you're busy playing community manager to fix it. Post a status update. No, I don't want to post a status update. So it should
Great.
always ask you about actions, but it doesn't always do it.
Yeah. That's great.
But yeah, this is the snarky, obviously, the snarky version.
Yeah.
I like the snarky version. But yeah, the other thing is calling me out on things I forgot to do or didn't manage, like, didn't follow up on. It's very helpful. Or just, just saying, hey, you promised this person to look at their PR. Do you want me to? Like, that's very helpful
okay.
because sometimes I have like 55 threads going at the same time, and I forget about things. It doesn't.
Right.
It doesn't forget about things.
Yeah.
So it actually keeps the log of things I should follow up on. I could follow up on. So you can see this follow-up report from yesterday, right? So let's say broken OCR functionality. It was a bit broken before I fixed it, right? And I was like, you need to fix this now. Then some pending reviews. You need to address them. And there's no more immediate action here. So, it can pop you these reports from time to time and say, hey, you need to follow up on this thing. Come on. And
now,
it helps.
How does, sorry to interrupt. How do those documents like show up? Like, do they pop up on your screen, or do you have like a folder that's watching for those that you open periodically? Like, how does that
so that is really cool. It's using the computer controller
happen?
and the developer tools from Goose. And what essentially it does, it writes an HTML page
Mhm.
and then pops it open in Chrome because it has control over your computer and can control Chrome.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
It just pops a new Chrome window, which loads that file.
That's cool. I wonder if there would be a way to say like always. So I've got like my main display in front of me, and then over on the side I've got a vertically mounted monitor.
Yeah.
I wonder if there'd be a way to say like, hey, if you're going to pop up these reports, like pop them up on that screen, like not the main screen, because this is where I'm doing my work. But like if there's something I need to pay attention to, like go put it on that screen over there where, you know, I would see something happen on that screen, but not necessarily like overlap what I'm, you know, currently typing or currently recording something. Like I wouldn't want to be disturbed on that kind of stuff. But
That would be really interesting. It would
yeah.
be an interesting idea, and I assume it could be done. The thing I see that it could be done with is the actions. So if you'll go to actions, you see that there's this screen activation, voice recipe, compose updates. These are the actual things it can do. But essentially, if I'll show you, there's this, no, this is not an avatar, I'm sorry. This is an observers, right? So let's say an avatar chatter recipe. Recipes take parameters. You can see there's a lot of parameters coming in.
Right.
And you can see that there's personality stuff, and then there's emotional context. This is literally a file it writes to, all the things it reads from the emotional context, recent emotion, energy, and it injects all of this information into the recipe. So there's always updating context. So if we have another parameter, which is user preferences, and inject that preferences into recipes, it should always do that in theory.
Gotcha.
Again, LLMs are non-deterministic, right? So it might, like, you know, these are simple ones, but you can always inject things into them. So we might imagine having a preference file where it would record things like that, and then it would reference that preference file in every, you know. So like I think it's writing a preference file into a different place, a local, whatever. But give me a second to show you. So let's see. If we'll go and do tab, do cd, local. So local.
Is that somewhere that you could do a voice prompt and be like, hey, Goose, how do I, you know, where do I find that preference file? Or
yeah, so
like
if we'll get it, if we'll, maybe, not right now, the voice just goes directly to regular Goose. So you see, Goose Perception writes all of these files in here, right? And there's avatar state, all kinds of observers, automated stuff. And you would probably see there's user prefs YAML, which is referenced by some recipes. And essentially right now, as you can see, it only records the interface mode you want and the team channel for the Slack posts. Right now it's a test one, but you can always extend this with these ideas that like preferred display for things and whatnot, and basically have this context here in the user prefs YAML. Again, we're working on it like off time, so any contributions are welcome.
Yep. We had one question in chat saying, how big is Goose? Like, how much VRAM does it need? So Goose will actually use whichever LLM you configure. And so you would only need VRAM if you're running Ollama for running local models. If you're connecting to a non-local model like a GPT or a Gemini, you're not using any VRAM on your system at all.
Yeah, you can probably see it's not even eating any GPU. It's barely, it's not even CPU, it's not eating GPU. If I'll go into column GPU processes and it's 0 here, yeah, you can see the GPU is literally 0 for Goose.
Yeah.
So yes, I'm using a remote model, obviously, but no, it's not eating any VRAM unless you are, because you can see my Chrome is actually much more.
Yeah.
Like,
for sure.
It's now just.
Oh, I was going to say for people that want to use Ollama, the important thing to keep in mind is Goose is very tool oriented. And so any local model that you use with Ollama has to be able to do tool calling. Otherwise, Goose may not be able to operate the tools and do stuff in the background and so on. So it might get a little stuck on some of that. Cool. And we had We had one comment here. Ace wants a copy of your background image with all the geese.
Yeah, just hit me up.
Yeah, send
No
him a
issues
message
with
on
that.
Slack. Yeah, I think we're all going to grab a copy of that one. It's great. Good deal. Yeah, if anyone else in chat has questions for Max, feel free to drop those in chat. We'll wait a couple minutes for other questions coming in. Is there like a roadmap for where the team wants to take perception, or like key features that you want to add to it, or changes that the team is considering?
Not really. There's like not really a team. There's just a couple individuals, me, Mick,
Yep.
maybe Aaron sometimes, who want to play around with it, and we're welcoming contributions. And the idea is basically this is a research project. It's not
Right.
like a application with a roadmap and whatnot. So if there's good ideas we want to try out, why not try them out? Like, if there's something you think this thing can do and automate, and it can be reasonably, it could be reasonably light, because one of the issues we had before we switched to OCR was the token amount it consumed. Right. It does a screenshot every minute of every window. So you can imagine that if you sent all of this to LLMs, that will rack up money. So we recently switched to the OCR because we got a bill for June, which was like over $10,000 per person.
Whoa.
And we're like, oh no, we need to wrap this up. So we had to pivot and change, and now it's much lighter. And and the idea is, if you could do as much as possible light, fast, and locally, it is the best.
Yeah.
So like, I would wait for that. If you have an idea, you can also do this and that locally, you don't need to send this to LLM. There's a good tool for that, which is reliable. And like this and that. Right now, we're just researching and looking at things which are cooler, good to automate, and how to make it a bit more controllable. Right now, it can still take actions without alerting you. Mm-hmm. And we would like to reduce that. We would like you to always, or at least maybe you can tell it to always do something without alerting you, and it can remember that. But it is still work in progress, very much so. And,
so by default, it's set to alert you before it does something. So it's
that's not exactly right. There's several conflicting pathways.
Okay.
Basically, several conflicting recipes. One of the recipes is generating actionable suggestions for the avatar, which wait on your reply, and those actions can only be taken through that. But there's also this recipe, which is task automation or whatnot, which can go sideways, and instead of writing you a document what you can automate, it can just go and do.
Gotcha.
So we're working on wording, because this is basically LLM land, right? So prompting is important. You can change the prompt, tweak it here and there, and it changes. There was an example today with somebody testing the waters with just regular Goose, where he prompted Goose to, and they asked the Goose to, hey, theoretically, what would be the least token efficient thing you can do? And it just went and said, hey, this would be the least token efficient thing I can do. Let me demonstrate. And it went and did that thing and just burned through the tokens.
Wow, that's great.
The intention wasn't for it to go and do. But some models like Claude are very action oriented. They want to do things. And essentially excited puppy mode, and they go and do.
They're trying too hard to be helpful.
Exactly. And you need to craft those prompts to avoid things.
Right.
Sometimes it could be a thing where in Goose itself, you have approval mode, right? As in many other agents, where it will ask you, but it will not work with the background agent here, because this thing should run autonomously and only ask in specific situations. So we're still working on that.
Gotcha. Awesome. Well, it looks like there's lots of fun things to kind of tinker with. I'm going to try this out later this afternoon, I think, and see how this goes. But yeah, definitely want to keep an eye on the token usage and so on. Now, in the regular Goose desktop, there's a way to see like how many tokens you're using. Any plans to integrate that into?
I was actually just talking and thinking about it yesterday, because it's running a no session mode, internally. If you know how Goose CLI works, there's this no session flag, which doesn't save the sessions for the
Okay.
recipes in your history, because initially it was doing that,
Mhm.
and it was polluting my session history in Goose, because
Okay.
it ran 70, 80 recipes a day. And
Right.
I couldn't find the sessions I actually did manually in Goose. So we rerun it with no session mode. Those don't save to the history. So it's really hard to extract the token information because it's ephemeral, it disappears.
Yeah.
So it needs to be counted right after. So yeah, probably we would need to be adding that because it's a useful feature.
So what we said at the beginning of the live stream today, this is experimental. It's on you to use this. Just keep an eye on your LLM usage for sure if you're using remote models, because otherwise that could probably add up in a hurry.
Yeah, also, if you're paying for it yourself, I highly recommend some providers allow you to create an API key and set a limit on it. Like
Right.
this is limited to X tokens. So this way, if it's just going to die after running out of tokens instead of bankrupting you.
Yeah, that would be nice for sure. Awesome. Well, Max, thank you so much for walking us through kind of what perception is, some of the things it can do. Obviously, it's a work in progress. It's experimental. They're looking for contributions. I've dropped the link in chat a couple times. We'll make sure it's in the video description when this goes up on YouTube. So just want to say thank you for all the work. Thank you to Mick and everybody that's contributing to this. I think it's pretty great. Like I said, I'm going to try it out later this afternoon, see how it does. And big thank you to everybody in chat for questions and little comments and so on along the way. Big thank you for tuning in. We've got a bunch of other stuff coming up, so stick around for the end video because there's some events going on this weekend that you'll want to know about. And yeah, we'll be back in a couple of weeks with another live stream. So thanks again. And Max, thank you again for your time today. Appreciate you being
Ian.
on our live stream.
Yeah, thanks, Ian. Happy to be here.
Have a good weekend, everybody, and we'll catch you soon. Cheers.
Bye.